Oh,
And
wow.
so I recorded those videos, just simple, I don't know, a minute or so video. I'm not even sure how long they were. I did a one-time take on all of them, recorded them all, put the content together. And now every client that comes through, if they're shopping, I just drop them in there. And then over the next 10 weeks, they get a video from me.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Influencers, where we bring you professionals who share insight into the latest trends, tips, industry technology, and services to help you be a mortgage influencer in your mortgage business.
Okay, so if you guys can see this, welcome to the Mortgage Influencers podcast. I'm Scott Schang, and Ginger is on a flight. I think Frank is on a call. Carl may or may not drop in, so it's going to be me and the prestigious David Wakefield, and we're going to have a conversation about what kind of things we're working on, to be mortgage influencers in this market, right? What kind of things are we bringing in? How are we using content? How are we getting the message out there? So, David, thanks for joining us. Anybody watching, listening, please feel free to jump in. Let's make this a conversation. Why don't you tell me what you're working on? I mean, it's it's a tight market. What are you seeing, and how are you reacting to it? What are you seeing out there?
Sure. Great question. So, today I've been working on a bunch of phone calls, right? I think I've had about 33 calls made and talked to a bunch of people. So I'm just knocking out calls right now. And I'm sending follow-up videos to those people as well. That is one of the things I'm doing on the video side, just to make sure that I'm connecting with those individuals. Go ahead.
Well, let's unpack that real quick, because I think that's really, I think that's so important, and I don't want to gloss over it. You're calling, you're picking up the phone and calling people, right? Like, we can't forget the basics in markets like this.
Sure.
So when you're calling them, what is the video that you're sending, that you're responding? I mean, who are you calling? What's the message? Are you just leaving the video using bomb, or kind of unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. So all the above in some cases, right? But today the message is basically, I'm just calling my company generates an email every morning that has active leads that are kind of in a TBD pipeline. And so I just basically
consumers.
Oh yeah, exactly. Consumers today, right? So I just figured I'd open up that, and I know it's supposed to be, if you're following the DSP, a database day to day, I believe, but I wanted to go ahead and try to reach out to those consumers. Just because I know they've been looking, right? And obviously we need loans today. So in the mindset of loans today, I'm trying to touch all those people. And I do a lot with bomb, and we'll go into that in a minute, but these have just been very simple. Just, hey, Scott, I just, it was great talking to you earlier. Just want to drop you a quick text, want to make sure you have my contact information in your phone as well. Whenever you're ready, I'm here for you, kind of a thing, right? So there's so much to be said about being in front of people continuously, and not just letting the automatic technology do its thing and expect they're gonna drop into your lap, right? So it's all about creating activity.
I'm so glad you said that. I was at a mortgage conference in Nashville last 2 days. Friend of ours, Tim Davis, down in Nashville, Tennessee, and I did a presentation on specifically that. This market today, there are some loans in there, and we will get those loans, but most of the people that are in the market today kind of have to be. This is the time to build your influence. This is the time to build your database, because whoever has the most engaged database when the market shifts is going to win. We kind of talk about, oh, this isn't 2008. This isn't 2008 because it wasn't the same reason. But I don't know if you were, I believe you were in the market in 2008.
Oh yeah. Yep.
This part of the business feels a lot like 2008. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. There's a lot of questions. You think we're confused about what's going on a day-to-day basis, and we're mortgage professionals, right? Real estate agents don't know what's going on. Consumers have no clue on what's going on. So the fact that you're out there talking to them, in that relationship. So, and you're keeping them in your database. So when something shifts in their favor, if it hits the headline news that rates went down 0.25%, I don't think you're going to have enough arms to pick up phone calls to answer
Sure.
those calls.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So are you sending a bomb video as a follow-up if you contact them or if you don't contact them? When do you decide to do that?
Well, and let me, I'm going to back up real quick and address the 2008 timeline. So yes, I was in the business, started, closed my first loan the day I graduated from college, May 5th of 1995, as a matter of fact, which coincidentally will be the day my son graduates from college next year, May 5th. So
this is definitely not your first rodeo. You went through the tech boom and everything.
Oh yeah, went through it all. And I will say there was that stretch where literally, I don't think I made hardly a dime for 6 months, but I was working 12 to 14 hour days. And I made, in the second half of that year, I made as much as I did the entire year before, just because I was doubling down on the activity and the phone calls, and people were dropping out of the business. And I was kind of the last man standing. I was the guy there in front of people. Now that was much lower tech. That was nothing but phone calls then. But that's kind of, if you can make the turn, for those that are struggling out there, stay top mind aware, stay in front of people, and you'll certainly be able to generate that activity. In regards to bomb videos, what I'm doing on those is, for right now, again, the calls that I made today, I'm just recording a quick video and dropping a quick text to those guys, video text, just to follow up the conversation. I do bomb, and something that I had looked at yesterday, I was showing a coworker. I've created automations in bomb, and I don't know if you're familiar with those or if you've ever done those before. I'm sure there's lots of other platforms that do it, but bomb has an option to create an automation in there. So what I did in COVID, I created a 10 video series of what are the 10 steps to buy a house. And so I recorded those videos, just simple, I don't know, a minute or so video. I'm not even sure how long they were. I did a one-time take on all of them, recorded them all, put the content together. And now every client that comes through, if they're shopping, I just drop them in there. And then over the next 10 weeks, they get a video from me. So it goes out like clockwork. So I've had 7,200 videos or something go out, I think, in total, that have gone through, through the system, 700 and some people, and, times 10, right? So,
well, the great thing about bomb is there's no prep or anything. I mean, that's literally just flipping it on. That's like flipping on your phone or quick webcam. And hey, just want to say thanks. That's a really, really smart idea. Did you, do you find that you get engagement like at a certain period during that 10-week thing? Like, do they really start to respond after like 5 or 6 weeks, or have you noticed any patterns like that at all?
It's really tough to say because everyone's in a different stage, right? So I mean, there are people. I'm dropping people in that are credit challenged. I'm dropping people in that are just kicking the tires. I mean, so everybody's kind of going in. But of course, how it works with bomb. I mean, I've got some messages today. Joseph is in week 7, right? He just watched the 7th step, kind of a thing, and so I get those notifications. And in a perfect world, I would be following back up strategically once those people start viewing those videos as well. I'm not quite as efficient as that at this point, but I see the activity and I can go back and I can certainly track and respond to those individuals. But I'm constantly in front of them that way, and that's been something, I think, speaking to your top mind aware. Right, as the market shifts, 100%. If I'm the guy in front of them, there's a pretty good chance I'll get that phone call.
And consumers don't want to be hounded right now, but they want to be reminded that you're there if they need you.
Sure,
right.
Exactly.
And have you kind of noticed the conversation shifting towards, well, just keep me informed of what's going on in the market, or when I might be able to buy, or when my options can change. Are you getting those kinds of conversations now where people are saying, man, I appreciate you following up. Will you keep in touch with me and kind of let me know when there's an opportunity?
Sure. Yeah, I am. And a lot of that is, well, gosh, hey, the rates are so high. I don't want to do anything right yet. And then of course, if there's a window, if they can buy, then I shift into, well, why you should buy now. Right. But, and a lot of times those people maybe aren't ready. I mean, I just talked to one earlier. She's got to file her taxes, right, in order to have enough income because she's self-employed. So I talked to her, made a note in my CRM, dropped her a quick follow-up video, sent her a text from my text software, and then scheduled a text to go out early January. Hey, don't forget, once you get those taxes filed, let's reconnect on your home purchase. We can certainly have you into something before May when your lease is up. So set it and forget it. So I spent an extra 30 seconds to type that text and schedule it out. Now that's going to, roll out, because I'd forget it otherwise. I'd get sidetracked or busy in something else. So now that'll happen automatically for us.
Well, that's your future pipeline, right? Like that's those are all your future loans. So, and that's brilliant. It's not just putting it on the calendar, get that's called scheduled. So that's what you're doing with consumers right now. You're calling them no matter what, that you had some sort of inquiry with them. You're going through, you're calling them, you're sending bomb videos, you're showing them your face, you're letting them know, I've been doing this. I know I look like a gorgeous young man, but I've been in the business for 30 years. I'm here to help hold your hand through this whole thing. What are you doing with referral partners right now?
Sure.
Doing something similar?
I am. So just trying to be consistent with those phone calls. I went through and pulled my list of referrals so far this year. Okay. And I tracked back on the recommendation of my coach, and I had 86 different referral agents, realtors send me deals this year. Okay. So I created that list, and I started working back, trying to contact those people to set appointments to get in front of them. And basically, looking at which ones have been the most generous, givers, right, and the people that have given the most leads, trying to get them signed up in my BombBomb. My HomeBot, and that's a whole other conversation. I don't know if we want to go into that now or not, but I'm getting agents pulled into that, the ones that are in my fan club, basically. So.
No, yeah, I love the fact that you said fan club, because that's really what this is. I mean, that's kind of the point of what we're talking about here, is being an influencer. I do want to talk about HomeBot, because I had a lot of these conversations right now. And I think markets like this, especially for agents, anything you can do to help agents kind of help them a little bit through this market. And I think HomeBot is amazing for that, because we can argue, and we know all real estate is regional. So prices are cooling. I'd say maybe they're going sideways. I don't know if home values are dropping as much as aggressive pricing strategies are not working anymore. So you're starting to kind of see some of that. But what I love about HomeBot is if they're not monitoring their past clients, and sending them what their home values are, there's a lot of folks out there that they're going to want to stop the equity from bleeding. If they start seeing that their home value is leveling off or even going down a little bit, they're going to be like, man, we've been wanting to move, but the rates were so high. But that rate's not anything compared to the $20,000 in equity that I lost in the last 90 days, right? So I think a tool like HomeBot, and you as a originator, giving them that tool so that they can find that. How are you presenting and how are you pitching? Are you finding that the agents are more open to using tools like that right now?
Yeah, I am. And it's one of those things where I, just simply met with an agent the other day, and I had done a presentation for a group of agents, and it's a team that now is working with me, which is great. So I brought them into the fold, per se, and I did this presentation for that team, and then I happened to meet with another agent, so I already had it kind of queued up, and in that I had some slides of HomeBot, and I showed her. I'm like, look at the activity. I've had 700 and some people look at things, and it tracks everything in there. And look, this person wants a CMA, and this so of course. So I'm going to refer them back to the agent that sent them to me, and so on and so forth. So they were super excited, and the realtors that are the true professionals, there's a separation happening in the market right now, and the ones that are the ones are the onesie twosies. They did 4, 5, 6 deals last year. Those guys are starving in a lot of cases now, because the deals aren't falling out of the trees. The true professionals, the ones that operate truly as a business, are doing okay. They're working hard just like we are, right? But they're finding those deals. a lot of those people have coaches. Their coaches are telling them, you got to plug it into your database, hard and fast, basically, and make sure you're giving them something of value, not just the email with the post, telling you to make a pumpkin pie or something like that.
Right.
So,
right.
Anyway, so I talked to one agent. She was just giddy, and I put her on there maybe 2 weeks ago, and the agent team were getting their database put together. So we're going to get them rolled in, and a few other agents. It's I like the mindset of adopting their database and then being that go-to person. So HomeBot's a very powerful tool. I don't think I'm utilizing it to its full extent by any means, but I'm trying to tap into it and use it as much as I can. So.
Yeah. No, I used it the same way, and we sponsored maybe about 35 agents, and so we were co-branded on 18,000 of those digests for the agents that were going out every month. Sure. And it's a powerful strategy, and I think right now in this market, because agents, like you said, it seems like a lot of marketing is out of the box, very canned, very generic, and it's not market specific. The other cool thing that I like about BombBomb is you have the ability to do one-time blast, a video broadcast to your entire database. So teaching agents how to do a market update. Hey, what's going on in this zip code? What's happening? Is your home value really dropping, or is, our price or offer prices just starting to feel downward pressure and coming down? And doing one of those a month and broadcasting that through HomeBot. So that's really cool. So you're leveraging technology and tools that are designed to help you deepen your relationships with your referral partners. Correct.
And then I'm also doing, I'm toying around, and I'm a novice 100%, but, toying around with Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts and things like that. So I've been popping those out, and I did one today on bankruptcy. And what I'm doing with that, you'd mentioned at the beginning of the call talking about content, and as people come up with questions, I'll make a note. Hey, that's a good one. One-to-many concept. So I'm going to take that, and so I recorded a quick video on here are the wait periods for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, with all the agencies. And so I just dropped that out. We'll see if we get traction. It's interesting on some of the reels I've put out. I've had some that have gotten 200 and some views, and some that have gotten 4,000 views, and I don't know what I don't know the formula, but I'm just putting it out there, and then hoping it finds its way in front of the right people. And I wasn't doing anything with them, and then started figuring it makes sense to store them on YouTube. So I created a YouTube channel. So I'm now taking those shorts or those reels, and I'm dropping them over on YouTube and warehousing them there. And then with that, what I've started doing is, as those questions start to come up with real estate agents asking about a specific program or a specific situation, I'll address it obviously I'll email them specifics, but I'll also drop those videos in there where I'll say, hey, here's a quick video, in 1 minute, it kind of will give an overview of that program or of the situation that your client might be in. So, and again, I'm just starting with that, but I'm trying to push more people to the YouTube channel and to get some of those videos viewed. So.
Well, and even the ones you don't push, getting that content out there now makes you searchable on Google and YouTube. Google is still the number one search engine in the world. YouTube is number 2, but amongst millennials, YouTube is the number one search engine in the world by a long shot. It's not even close compared to any other social platform, not TikTok, not Instagram, not Facebook, it's YouTube. And if you look at those demographics, it's important to get that stuff out there. And I love what you said about repurposing, because that's the great thing about creating content. And that's kind of my line. Every time you create a piece of content, you're cloning yourself. And so you're deploying an army of clones of you referring business back to yourself. And when you can do that video once and then repurpose it on those different platforms, it's interesting. You said that. I'm gonna drop you a content nugget right now, and let's just keep this amongst us. There's only a handful of us sitting here, because we want everybody doing this. A great topic right now that I'm seeing a ton of traffic on my platforms is owner-occupied duplexes, low down payment duplexes. And there are some really cool spins there. If you buy a duplex and you rent out the one half, then you just cut your interest rate in half. There's like these kind of analogies and metaphors. In the last 4 months, we've had 8,000 visitors to 2 blog articles, spending an average of 6 minutes on each article. And
Wow.
on owner-occupied, low down payment, owner-occupied duplexes. So like Freddie Mac Home Possible allows duplexes 3% down, FHA 3.5% down. That's a really, really cool topic that's getting a lot of traffic too. So, man, you're absolutely hitting everything. I talked to a lot of people about what they're doing, and you are on top of it. So,
Well,
I mean, do you feel like you're doing enough? I mean, you're keeping busy, and you kind of said back in 2008 you were working 80 hours a week and not making any income, but you were putting in the effort and getting it out there. How do you kind of feel about your progress right now?
Yeah, I think it's similar, right? Because I mean, I talk to people all the time, right? I closed 1 loan, I closed 2 loans last month. That's it, and they're complaining about things. And I'm like everybody else right now. I don't have a builder account, or I don't have anything that's preset, but I look at it every month and I start fresh. I'm broke every month basically, and start from scratch. And and I'm looking at it going, man, I don't have any loans in the hopper for for November. Well, I went from no loans to 10 loans or something, right? Just because I was doubling down on efforts, and I created the activity and put loans in there. And now I'm doing the same thing for December, just hustling, just trying to find find that combination. There are people out there, and something that I had shared at one of our annual meetings was when you look in your local MLS, and I happened to pull that data, and I looked and I saw that in my local area there was, I don't know, 2,200 sales right in the area. I don't need 2,200. Hell, I'll settle for 22. I mean, if there's plenty of business out there. It's just a matter of getting in front of the right people. Yes. Right. And there are people that are doing the business. So how can you align yourself and get your way in the path of those individuals? How can you add value to those people that are actually selling the real estate? There's tremendous opportunity. It's just a matter of adding value and kind of being the last man standing per se, perhaps in some cases, for the people that are struggling right now.
Well, and stepping up and being a thought leader and being I kind of call this a silver lining strategy when it comes to content, is the like 2008 real estate and mortgages back in the 24/7 news cycle, right? So they're talking about the inflation and rates keep going up and home prices dropping. But in every single one of those stories, there's a positive message. So if home values start to level off or cool off, that actually is good news for buyers that were on the fence, that couldn't buy for the last couple of years. If they can afford to buy now, then they can lock in their payment, and the chances of them lowering that payment in the future is probably high 90%. Nobody knows for sure what the market's going to do in the future, but if it has anything to do like what we've seen in the last 25 years, it's cyclical. They go up, they go down, and it recovers, and it's kind of like this balancing act. So hustling, maintaining those relationships, and I would encourage everybody listening to add the KPI to your daily activities of how many new people can you add to your database, because those are people that you can keep in your sphere of influence, that you can deliver content to, that you can help guide them through this. And there's nobody better than us, people like you and people that are taking the time to, come in and join us on this podcast and kind of listen to what other people are doing. There's no better time right now than to just be out there and be a leader. Like be a leader. Don't be afraid. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to be able to interpret the market around you. And that doesn't mean you're making predictions on what's going to happen and just take this 6-month ARM because rates will be down in 6 months. So I'll just refinance you. Stay away from that stuff. Like you want to build, because if the rates don't go down in 6 months, you're going to lose relationships. You lose relationships with your realtors and your things. I'm seeing a lot of that kind of thing. And I don't want people to be enticed by some of these buy down strategies and that they're not explaining them properly and short-term ARMs and things like that.
Right.
So what Man, so this is fantastic, Dave. This is, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this. This is just you're doing absolutely everything that you should be doing in this market. And you can't worry about results. You got to just worry about your effort, right? And
Sure.
you know what you need to do. We're coming up on the top of the hour. What kind of advice would you give to everybody listening right now? I mean, you've been in the market for a long time. You've seen a lot of these kind of shifts. What can you share to kind of give everybody something to hang on to?
So I'll give you something on that real quick. But before I do, my daughter, by the way, is one of those people who is probably on your blog about buying a house, right? Because she's in that house hacking mindset right now. So she and I are actually working on getting her a house, and she's all about that rental income. Yep. So we're breaking that down. So I haven't done anything on that. So I definitely
was going to say that should be a video journal of you and your daughter doing this. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, so we may have to do that. So anyhow, but as far as what to do, I mean, it's not, the mortgage business is simple. It's just not easy, right? It's a simple business. It's picking up the phone. That phone's a cash register. Pick it up, and the more you dial, the more it spits money out at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And it's just being top mind aware. You got to be in front of people and finding unique ways to do so in some cases, because you've got to stand out, because there are a lot of other loan officers out there that are just dialing and dropping, right? Because they're not going to make they've made a couple of phone calls, they're not going to make the turn, right? So they're going to peter out. So you got to be able to just stay the course, be that consistent person that is always there. Even if you have to refer clients somewhere else, I can't help them with this certain product. Hey, Scott's got the answer over there. I'm going to connect you with Scott. You want to be that go-to person for all things mortgage. And even if you can't handle it yourself, you want to be the connector. And if you play that connector role, then you'll always be at the top of their list of who to call. And then, that's certainly going to yield more opportunities. And it's all about that just ask. I mean, as I'm making all these calls today, I'm hitting them all at the 3x3 at the end of the day. Hey, who else family, friends, coworkers that need to buy, sell, do a debt consolidation or renovation refinance,
or have questions about have questions about what's going on in the market.
Sure, exactly.
It's as simple as that. I mean, that's one of the things that I was the way that I like to spin it is our job is based on how many conversations we can have about mortgages. That's just it. Picking up the phone is getting it. But any way you can have that conversation, it doesn't matter whether they're ready to buy now. We've got technology and databases and bomb. Just keep having those conversations, as many conversations as you can. Eye on the activity, not on necessarily where the loans are kind of come from, because they're going to come. The activity, the loans are going to follow if you do the activity. And if you stick with it and you do it every day.
Well, and I'll throw one thing, and I know we're at the top of the hour, so we got to go. Yep. But mortgage coach, I'm a huge mortgage coach guy as well. And people right now, it's payment, right? It's all data and documents, right? However you want to look at it, right? It's all the remove the emotion, it's the numbers. So I was talking to a client last night, locked him in. Rate was higher than I thought it, should be, right? Like everybody in that situation where you scratch your head and say, my gosh, it's higher than what I would like to quote this guy. But hey, your payment's $2,100. Your cash to close is whatever, $46,000. Are you good with that? Okay, yes, I am. We didn't even discuss the interest rate. I just sent him the mortgage coach numbers. Here's a couple of options, 3 or 4 options. Pick one. Here's the payment. Here's the cash. Are you good? Yes. Locked in, paid for the appraisal, ordered on a rush today. I'm going to close him before Thanksgiving, actually, in this guy's case. And it's a $600,000 deal, which is bigger than what I normally do, because I got my average is, probably 250 or something. But anyways, I'm not on the California coast. But anyways, so it's just payment and cash, and that's what it is. Forget about the rate.
I had an old timer tell me a long time ago when I got into the market, the customer doesn't write the interest rate on their mortgage check to make their payment. They write their payment amount on the check to make their mortgage payment. And that's all they care about. We got to stop worrying about rates. It's about affordability. And if they can afford, it's always a good time to buy, because we know the value of home ownership and generational wealth. Right?
Exactly.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you sharing all of this stuff. There's so much good information that you shared. I hope that was helpful to everybody. Join us next week. I think we have Danny Ruiz, and then I think we have Rob Chrisman in a couple of weeks. So that should be a really interesting conversation as well. So David, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. And I will probably see you in Nashville next week. Right.
I will actually not be there. So my wife, we got something else going on that, unfortunately. So I'll look for the Cliff Notes and Danny is a rock star. If you guys don't know Danny, you got to tune in for Danny. He's all over TikTok and social media, and he's doing it right for sure. He's got a great story.
Yep. All right, man. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, and we'll probably check in with you later.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, thanks so much, everyone.
David. You're welcome.
Bye for now.